Real quick, application security. Ward talked about packet on the wire. I lived that world too, so it was really nice to hear what he had to say from Viavi. And what we're doing is we are aligning application intent to the security environment. We want to make sure that what the business needs, what the application owner needs, aligns directly with what the security environment provides. So where Ron was talking low level, layers 1 and 2, basically, with the packets going across, some 3 and 4. We're focused heavily on layer 7, the application. And we want to secure that application connectivity anywhere. And why I say anywhere is because we're not just talking about firewalls on premise. We're talking about the cloud. We're talking about network security groups. We're talking about ACI for those that are using the Cisco application-centric infrastructure, NSGs in the cloud. It's imperative to understand that the security footprint is much broader than it had been in the past. And AlgoSec, with our partners that you can see here, align that application intent to what the security environment is doing. I want to start by talking about a case study. I have a healthcare organization, a very large one in the South Central United States, and they came to us and said, we have a problem. We have 85% of our, and this is actually industry-wide, it's not just this healthcare organization, but most companies are having their application owners, the business, come with the reason for the change. Network people and security people don't sit here randomly and go, oh, gee, let me put a new rule in the firewall, or let me modify this NSG. It's coming from the business. And this healthcare organization had 91% of those requests that were coming from the business, 91% of them were missing the required information. And because they were missing the required information, even though the security team went and reviewed them, half the time the requests that were implemented had the wrong data. What that means, when you put the wrong data into a security environment, you have a broader attack surface. You have a situation where if somebody were to get into the environment through a phishing attack, they now have the capability of doing lateral movement to get to other systems to find the information that's there. It's imperative that when we do create the security policy and create the rules to modify that policy, we need to align it properly with the application. What we're also seeing, and I'll get to in more detail in a moment, is that the network and security teams are overwhelmed. When you have large organizations, healthcare organizations in particular, that are requesting so many changes, it's too much for the team to handle, and they make mistakes or they don't get to it. Applications need to change rapidly. We see in our mobile apps, especially in financial services, but healthcare as well. As we update the app, we need to make sure the security aligns to that, and we need the network and security teams to take action. And as Ward said as well, intelligently automate the changes, which is something else that AlgoSec does. Through our automation capability, we're able to alleviate the workload from the staff. I'm not going to go into every bullet point. I'm happy to share this deck if you'd like to see it. But the bottom line of the case study is they came to us and they said, we need to deploy our applications faster. And they did that with our product by understanding what exists in the environment, having their network and security teams adjust and adapt and make the changes quickly. And now they have a whole front end, a new GUI, where users go in and request an application change, and it flows through the AlgoSec product and our solution to help them automate the implementation of the change to get the application functioning faster. This is the slide I was mentioning. I thought it was fun that Ward had the same thing. I did not use a chatbot. I just popped these in for my experience, but I totally applaud folks that are using that. I've done it in many ways. The ChatGPT definitely is a very big help for all of us in cybersecurity. So if you're not using it or a similar, I highly recommend it. What I'm seeing here is that we have people, process, and technologies. These are the core of cybersecurity. Everybody is involved. They need the tools to do the job, and they need the processes to communicate. Healthcare organizations, from a cybersecurity challenge perspective, so a little bit more micro than Ward went, you're a high value target. You're actually the highest value target. The dollar value, the dollar figure from the 2023 IBM cost of a data breach says that each record is worth between $250 and $1,000 on the dark web. And the organizations are paying upwards of $11 million in an average breach, whether it is fines, whether it is ransom. It is a very expensive scenario for the healthcare. It's imperative that you understand what's going on and take action. You're under attack from advanced persistent threats, which are nation states, primarily North Korea, China, Iran, Russia, and Brazil. There's constant pressure. I worked in healthcare IT for 8.5 years earlier in my career. I'm very familiar with the industry and the constant pressure that you folks are under. It is hitting you every minute of every day, whether it's a phishing attack, whether it's a brute force attack. I have many stories that I could tell. It is something that needs to be addressed at the healthcare level and not just at the IT or security level. Everybody in the organization needs to be involved. It's constant pressure. As I said, you're attacked again and again, day after day. It is never ending. Here's 3 high-profile breaches. I'm assuming some of you are familiar, certainly with Change Healthcare. I actually get papers from them saying, yes, you were affected as well. So not only am I a seller of cybersecurity, I am a user of cybersecurity, as the old adage once said. This one I just wanted to point out, the Welltalk via MoveIt. Welltalk was a victim of what happened to MoveIt. MoveIt was is a storage company. Like Snowflake, when you have an organization that stores your data and they are breached, you are breached. And as an attacker, it's much easier to go after them. So what I recommend folks do is you understand your third parties, you understand the third party relationships, and you know how they are secure and how they are protecting you. And if you have any questions on that, definitely look at the MoveIt or the Snowflake attack. And then the last 2 areas that are really challenging, and I know everybody on this call is aware of it, the staffing shortage, where it's hard to find good people, and it is very hard to keep them upskilled. All the times you're getting new tools, the staff needs to be trained on it. And then you also have to have visibility into complex environments. Healthcare is a very diverse business. You have RHIE, the Regional Health Information Exchanges. You have healthcare clinics tied to hospitals, tied to doctors' offices. And then you have major environments where you have the HL7 interfaces that's tying pharmacy to the HIM, to the EHR. All the stuff is coming in, and you need to understand that interoperability, which is again where Viavi plays at the network level, seeing the packets and how they're talking, and then where AlgoSec comes in is we utilize that data to build out the application and then secure that application in the security environment. Again, whether it's in the cloud, whether it's on-prem, whether it's SD-WAN, we're covering all of that. I've hinted at the fact that there are changes going on. And the challenges, we're dealing with so much. And my example from my customer was that they just couldn't keep up. We're now in an environment where developers and application owners are involved in the security because they're the customer and they need it done now. When you need to stand up a new system in AWS, you can't wait for somebody to modify the network security groups. You want it done now. It needs to be dynamic, it needs to be agile, and the developer needs to work with the networking team and the application team, and the security team needs to envelop the whole thing, which is where we're getting the DevSecOps solution that organizations should be using now. But the application development and networks are changing, and we in the security realm need to understand that and work with that. The paradigm shift is required. A paradigm shift is required. What we have done historically, and like Ward, I've been around for quite some time, over 30 years now, things have changed drastically. What has not changed? TCP/IP. We have the same risks today, the same threats today, the same problems today we had 30 years ago. And we can't keep doing what we've always done, or we're going to get what we've always had. AlgoSec understands that, and AlgoSec is attacking this from a different perspective. Rather than looking at it at the packet level, rather than looking at it at the network level, which is how the security grew, we want to say, stop, look at the application. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? What needs to communicate? How should it communicate? Now that we know about that communication methodology, let's align our security that way. Historically, we would just put in rules and policies expecting something to work, but never fine-tune them. Never go in and see, hey, does this rule actually do what it's supposed to? Is it overly broad? Do we have an attack surface that is too broad, too wide, and therefore if somebody gets in, they can get to systems they shouldn't? With microsegmentation, understanding applications, and aligning the security to the application intent, AlgoSec assists organizations in becoming more secure and aligned with their needs. So the old processes can't keep up. What I see often is people buy a tool, they plug it in, and they think, okay, the world's saved. No, it's not like that. It's like a car. You can't just get in the car and go, okay, take me somewhere. At least we can't do that yet. You need gas in the car. You need oil in the car. You need to turn the car on. You need to know about reverse if you're backing out of a garage. Same thing with cybersecurity, and it goes back to what I said a little while ago about upskilling your staff. When you buy a tool, use the tool. Don't have shelfware. Don't just say, hey, I checked the box, I bought a tool, and we've got the basics of it installed. Have processes in place, new processes that are going to dictate you have to get a certain amount out of a tool that you purchase. We're going across hybrid cloud networks. Historically, everything was on-prem. Now we see some people are moving a little bit into the cloud, and other organizations are fully in the cloud. I was on with an organization that deals with human resources earlier today, and they said, Eric, everything we have is now in Azure. We don't do anything on-prem. Everything is in the cloud, and I'm hearing that more and more. We're also hearing more and more, we're getting rid of our firewalls. We're doing SD-WAN. We're going to SASE. We're going to an environment where we don't need to deal with it because we're a hospital, we're a healthcare organization. We should not have to worry about whether or not this is in the right place or that's in the right place or this server's up or that system is patched. They're going to software as a service solutions, and they're running it in the cloud and into hybrid networks. And AlgoSec's application awareness and intent alignment with these security devices allow organizations to make sure that they are providing what they need from a security perspective, no matter where the application resides. Another thing Ward said, and honestly, I've never talked to Ward. He doesn't know me and I don't know him, but there was great synergy between what he was talking about and what I want to say. This is our slide about application intent, as well as the intelligent automation, which are the exact words that Ward used, where companies can understand and get visibility into what they need, and then they remediate it through a change management tool that can integrate and align with ServiceNow, Remedy, Jira. So you don't need to create your end users a new process or teach them something new. They can go ahead and open up the change request how they need it, or just a rhythm or whatever for them in their ticketing system, and it will then go through the AlgoSec change management system they'll request the connectivity, we'll create the plan, we'll do an assessment. Are you creating new risks if you make this change? And we'll then provide the work order and even push it out to the security devices in question as necessary. What that's going to do is remove the hands-on from the engineer or the analyst. Therefore, their time is freed up. And we also don't need to worry about typos any longer because the system is understanding the request, can be reviewed by the analyst. It could then be approved by the security team, and then it moves out to the implementation phase. But this intelligent automation is improving the process, securing the process, and granting relief to the staff that's overwhelmed, as I talked about before. And then I just wanted to include on the, again, intelligent automation. I did not create this after Ward said it. I think, again, it's great synergy, and good job, Ron, for bringing us in back to back. This is what we're looking to do at AlgoSec. We want to help our customers, healthcare in particular, actually, because of some of the challenges you face that are unique. And we want to take people that are usually in the level 2 or 3 component of the journey into levels 4 and 5. And that is, we identify what needs to be changed. We provide for you the requirement, and then you basically say yay or nay. The human says yay or nay, and then it goes off, and we'll even push it out. And I do have some customers that have a zero touch, which is a very high automation. They say, Eric, after 91 days, I don't need the rule anymore. Go ahead and disable it for me automatically. And they just come in, they look at a list of changes, and they can see, oh, all these rules were disabled, and they had nothing to do with it. That is something from an audit perspective that organizations are doing constantly, and we're automating it to alleviate the pressure again on their staff. So with that said, just to conclude, we're aligning the application intent with the security environment, and we're doing intelligent automation for remediation when we identify what has to occur. So with that said, I too would like to thank you, Ron. I think this is a great format. I appreciate everybody joining, and I've got a few minutes for questions if anybody has any.